It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm not going to talk about zoning policy or any other matter, but I'm going to talk about something and speak about something that is at the core of heritage of Fiji. Ladies and gentlemen, as alluded to earlier on, it's an honor to be here with you all today to commemorate an event that marked the end of one of the darkest, yet one of the most significant eras in Fijian history, the transport of indentured laborers from British India some 100 years ago to Fiji. The legacy of those indentured laborers, the Girmitiers, can be seen throughout Fijian society to this day. It is not only lives on the descendants, but the determined, tenacious spirit of the Girmitiers served as a source of inspiration for every Fijian. That legacy had made Fiji a very proud nation. It is today. Because despite the immense adversity faced by the Girmitiers, they forged new lives for themselves in Fiji and ultimately overcame the struggle. They had a dream. They wanted the dreams to be realized. Between 1879 and 1960, 42 ships made a total of 87 voyages, carrying British Indian indentured laborers to Fiji, oftentimes lured away from their homes with false promises. These Girmitiers endured the grueling journey from India on the ship. They suffered demeaning treatment from their overseers on the ship, and they slaved away under violent, repressive work conditions. Due to the high cost of returning to British India, many of them had no choice but to stay back. In the face of such misery, while it would be easy to abandon hope, as some do today, and give in to the despair instead, they persevered. The Girmitiers' contribution to this nation began the very day they set foot in Fiji, building roads, clearing land, and harvesting sugarcane. The success of Fiji's colonial economy depended heavily on their sweat, their effort, and their talents. Here in Rakiraki, it is wonderful to see so many Fijians here today converged to commemorate this important event. As we all know, the history of Girmitiers is also the history of Rakiraki. Some of the Girmit descendants of those who were aboard the Sutlej 5 are with us here today. On behalf of the Fijian people, I want to pay tribute not only to the contribution of your ancestors made to building our nation, but your own contribution as well. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Josiah Moringe Bani Marama, joins me in paying tribute to those who are not with us. The Girmitiers made a very major contribution to the development of Rakiraki and the surrounding district. Then and now, this was an important sugarcane growing area, and the Girmitiers toiled the fields which supplied CSR Rakiraki mill. They also established the first public school in Rakiraki, the Wairuku Primary School. It was founded by a group of people led by Pandit Badri Maharaj, an indentured laborer who became a politician and a philanthropist. He founded the Wairuku School in 1898 and paid for himself. It was the first Indo-Fijian school to be established in the country, but it took the children of all other communities as well, as are all schools now. Probably they took cue from him. Including one of the Fiji's greatest statesmen, Ratu Selala Sukuna. His teachers at Wairuku must have been very good, because Ratu Sukuna went on to become a distinguished scholar of Oxford University in Britain, as well as one of the most outstanding figures in Fijian history. Ladies and gentlemen, Pandit Maharaj himself went on to become the first Indo-Fijian member of Fiji's Legislative Council, the forerunner to the present parliament, and from 1970 to 1929. So he made a wonderful contribution himself, not only to Rakiraki, but to our nation as a whole. They were the nation builders. In villages, towns and cities all across Fiji, we can still see the stories of the Girmitians all around us. Those stories are part of the story of Fiji. And that is why these celebrations are being held nationwide, in recognition of the nationwide impact that the Girmitians have had on our country. The accounts recorded by Girmitians in Fiji tell us much about their suffering, but words alone can never fully capture the emotion and the pain they experienced. So much of what makes our lives fulfilling and enjoyable is found in our relationships, our families, our friends, and our communities. To lose that, to be forced to live and work in isolation would cause any one of us untold suffering. Transplanted far from home in a foreign land, ripped away from their families and lives that they knew. The Girmitians often drew strength from the hope that things would get better. Maybe not for them, but for future generations. At first, they had no access to education, but still they knew that education, that knowledge was the best path to a better life. The commitment to education has not faltered. Since those early days, Girmitians and their descendants have had a major role in helping create a more knowledge-based society in Fiji. Every day, their work, their values, and their sacrifices have helped rebuild the new modern Fiji and bring advancements into the lives of every Fijian, so that we are all prepared for whatever challenges and opportunities the future holds. We must never forget that while the practice of indenture ended many years ago, that feeling of alienation felt by Fijians of Girmit descent persisted for decades. It took 97 years from the arrival of that ship for the descendants of the Girmitians to be called Fijians, to truly become a part of our nation and participate fully in our national life. When this government in 2013 declares us all as Fijians equal and united as one nation and one people, it was a realization of the hopes and dreams of hundreds of thousands of direct descendants of Girmitians. While many of you ancestors have never heard of Fiji prior to the arrival, in that moment this nation truly became your home. And it will remain so for all time. The journey has been long, too long, and not without difficulty. But here we all stand, more united than ever before, and all committed to taking Fiji into the future. It is not the duty of any one community to remember the sacrifices and the suffering that led up to this commemoration. We must all remember, we must all reflect, and we must all uphold the legacy of the Girmitians. In the same way, they strove to build better lives for the descendants, we must strive to leave behind a nation that is better than what we inherited. I would like to echo the announcement by His Excellency the President in his statement at the commemoration held in Suva earlier this week. And I quote, in 2020, for the 100-year anniversary of the end of the indentured system, we will be holding special commemorations throughout Fiji to mark the end of indentured era. My fellow Fijians, it is an emotional day for all of us as we remember past trauma and look back on our history. But it is also a day for celebration of how far we have come. Let us all give thanks to the Girmitians and their descendants. Let us all try and live up to the example of perseverance and determination that they displayed despite trying circumstances that they faced. They suffered, they had a dream, they didn't give up, and they delivered. Naka, thank you, and धन्यवाद.
हो जाए ताकि आप समय से यहाँ आ जाएं और अपना जो भेंट है इसको स्वीकार करें. विशेषतः हमारे बच्चे आपको देखकर बड़े खुश हो गए, बड़े प्रसन्न हैं. They are really very happy to see a man as old as 91 years. So thank you. आपको जो आदर सब. Thank you.